Do you feel a tightness in your hip joints or hip flexor? Have you been stretching yet this area still feels tight? Maybe it's your psoas muscle. By the end of this video, you are going to have a clear idea of how to reduce stiffness and tightness in the area of your hip joints, gain flexibility, and get better posture. Current research tells us that unless you're engaging the nervous system, stretching and straining could be doing more damage than good. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to engage the nervous system, gain the flexibility you want, and reduce that stiffness. For the best advice on improving your movement, increasing your brain-body connection, follow this YouTube channel and make sure you click that bell icon so you'll be notified when my next video goes live. Before we get to the juicy stuff, let's hear from Terry what she found after trying these lessons.
So I did the happy hips thing, and within the first lesson I could just tell a difference of what I had been doing and what I was unable to do, and how that shifted my awareness of my body, in particularly having a pain situation going on, how I was able to move differently without creating pain. And so
what are you really dealing with when you have hip joint tension? Is it that you've got a poor range of motion? You're not as flexible as you would like to be. Maybe when you reach the end range of your motion, it's very uncomfortable. Maybe you feel that your hips don't ever get a chance to relax and they're always feeling tight. Or maybe it's not painful, or that you don't feel too much tension, but it just gets uncomfortable from time to time, a nagging pain that keeps returning. Whatever it is, if you want to find relief without stretching or straining and engaging in the latest scientific research into gaining flexibility in this area, this is what I'm going to share with you on this video. Hip flexibility and mobility is a question many people have to feel more ease and comfort in their body. After all, the hips are the driver for much of our movement. They connect the upper half of our body to the lower half, and if they're out of whack, then other areas of our body could be talking to us. Lower back pain, knee pain, even our neck pain could be caused because our hips are tight and stiff. And that could be the real problem, that this area isn't moving as functionally in all the planes of direction that is possible. Most people believe that stretching this area will give them the flexibility they're seeking, yet they can stretch for years and still feel tight in this area. Because it's not about pulling or straining the muscle. If you're doing that, then you're usually only doing the movements that your body has become accustomed to, the habits that have set into your body, and you're not giving your body different options. And that's what we're going to be sharing today. This video is a place to start. So if you want more, I'll link below to my free Happy Hips video series. My coaching style discourages the question, well, what's the best way to walk, sit, run, breathe for movement X, whatever that movement may be. Instead, the goal is to make the brain realize that there are many options for the one movement, linking to the nervous system so that the brain can detect, well, what's the most efficient, effortless choice I have for this movement? The choice for the individual, that is you. Efficient, effective, and effortless movement is the goal. Inefficient movement is essentially bad coordination between the muscles. And that's where you get internal stress and muscle tension, which is why possibly your hips are tight in the first place. My programs and the videos you'll find on this channel give you the skills to help you solve the problems that arise from inefficient body movement by teaching you how to pay more attention to your body so that you can feel confident that you can solve the problems that arise for yourself. For other movement professionals like yoga teachers, Pilates teachers, fitness trainers, these skills can help your students find more ease and comfort in your classes and therefore gain greater results faster. I do host a VIP movement coaching program for fitness and movement professionals. So if you do want to understand this coaching style, reach out to me. So let's get clear on what I mean when I'm saying hip joint, because what it means to me might be something different to you. So let's get acquainted with the hip as a ball and socket joint. That's where the thigh bone or femur enters into the pelvis, and the top of the femur is shaped like a ball. So that's called the femoral head. This ball rotates inside the socket called the acetabulum, which is formed by the pubic bone itself. The femoral head is attached to the acetabulum by a joint capsule and 3 strong ligaments. It's these ligaments that are the source of your stability in your hips and holds it in place. In a healthy hip, the femoral head and the acetabulum are covered in a gel-like substance called the articular cartilage. This provides shock absorption and ease of motion through the hips. Surrounding the hip joint are some of the largest muscles in the body and tendons that are attached to the bone. The muscles of the buttocks, the thighs, the abdominals all play a part in how the movement of the hips works. They control extension, flexion, internal and external rotation. Exploring internal and external rotation is one of my most popular masterclasses. Much rides on the health of our hips. They are the largest, most complex joints in our body. They bear the full weight of our body, and like everything else in our body, are subject to aging, injury, and discomfort. Thankfully, you can recover from injury. You can avoid the aging process through a mindful movement practice like I'm going to share with you on this video. Just because we're aging doesn't mean that we lose mobility. That is a myth, something that our culture has come to believe that is not really true. So let's get into some movement now. I'm going to share with you 2 of the ideas from my Exploring External and Internal Rotation from my masterclass series and from my Happy Hips workshop program. After this video, I will link to some of my other hip videos so you can keep exploring. For real change, this practice does take time and commitment to want the change. There are no quick fixes for something that truly works, but I encourage you to give these mindful movement practices a go, and I guarantee you that you will change the tightness and the experience you have in your body, not just in your hips, but everywhere. Welcome to the movement part of this video. So I encourage you to find a comfortable place to lie down on the floor. I have a nice rug here to lie on. You can put a blanket on the floor. You can put a yoga mat. Sometimes my students like to have a rug over the top of their yoga mat because when you lie down, your arms come off the side of the yoga mat. So begin lying down, feeling the contact your body makes with the floor, and we check in. We scan the body for how is the weight into the floor. Compare the right side with the left side. The weight behind the pelvis, the weight behind the chest, the span of the lower back from the pelvis to the thoracic spine, the weight behind the head, the length of the legs, the length of the arms. And to begin, roll the right leg inside the hip joint and feel, what is that like to roll the right leg? Then compare that with the left leg. Where do you feel that initiation before you begin to roll? If you need to go back to the right leg, feel where it initiates the roll. And then give that up. Has that changed anything just from rolling the leg? Now to bring the legs into standing, we slide the outside of the foot so that the knee on the right falls out to the side. Slide the leg up until it comes to a natural place where it feels like it wants to come up with the foot flat on the floor, and then allow the knee to fall out and slide the leg down. The next time, notice how far off the ground the knee is, how far it slides up before it's natural to bring the foot to standing. This is the spiral-like nature of the hip joint. Then try the left side and compare how far off the ground, how far up does the foot slide? Is it the same? Is this side smoother than the other side? And once more, slide it up, place it in standing, and bring the right leg to meet the left. Now imagine there's a clock face on the floor behind your pelvis. You gently press the feet into the floor, and notice that when you're rolling the pelvis, pressing the feet, you're rolling to 12, and then roll the pelvis the opposite way, and notice how slow can you go. Roll it back to 12. We're going slow and noticing, can you feel it from your pelvis to your head? There's a whole lesson on thinking about this clock face behind your pelvis, which I call the butte clock or pelvic clock. But for now, just roll it until you find a comfortable place for your pelvis to be in between these 2 points. Maybe it's the same place that it was, or maybe you find a different place than when you first brought your legs into standing. Let go of the left leg, slide it down. Let go of the right leg, slide it down. And have you noticed there's anything different throughout your body now? Is there a different weight behind the pelvis? Is the span of the lower back different? A different weight behind the chest? Just notice. We've only done a few movements. And then bringing the leg up into standing again. This time, I'm going to explain it before I show you. So I'll explain it and you do it the best you know how. And that is, we're just going to shift the weight from the right to the left across the pelvis. How do you shift the weight from the right to the left? So we're moving the pelvis to 9 o'clock, lifting away from 3 o'clock. How do you do that? There's a couple of different ways. Are you shifting the weight of the pelvis and leaving your knee in where it is in space, like this? Or are you taking the knee with you and shifting the weight? Which way was most natural for you when I asked you to shift the weight? Whichever way it was, try the other way. So if it was to leave your knee in space and you shifted the pelvis, take the knee with you. If you were taking the knee with you, then lift the pelvis and leave the knee where it is. So you're giving your body options here. As I talked about in the start of the video, we're giving our body options. Now everybody, try this. Leave the knee where it is and shift the weight of the pelvis across. It's this differentiation between the hip and the knee that many people aren't aware that they can have this option. differentiation. The knee can go one way and the hip can go the other. So maybe that's you, and maybe you now have a new option. Let's try that on the other side. So bringing the left leg into standing. Shift the weight. Which do you prefer? Which do you do first? So if you shifted the weight and left the knee, now shift the weight and take the knee with you. If you took the knee with you, shift the weight, leaving the knee where it is. And there's multiple variations in between. You can take the knee with you a little bit and then shift the pelvis. But this leaving the knee and opening up, differentiation, allows the hip flexor to open. Now give that up, lay down. Has something changed now? Rolling to the side, come to sitting. That was just one small movement I wanted to share with you. If you want to know more, I encourage you to sign up to the free Happy Hips video series, and we'll take you through some more hip lessons. Hi, and thanks for watching this video. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, and right here I'm going to share with you another video to help you with your hip mobility, and over here subscribe to my channel.